Okay, good morning. Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Table and Able. Today we're doing Orach Chaim Simon Kufmem Gimel 143. What if you find a mistake? You're reading a Sefer Torah and you find a mistake. They call up the rabbi to the bima, the Bal Koreh. They have a conference over there in the middle of Shabbos morning davening. And the rabbi is saying certain things. He's looking again. The Bal Koreh is looking. The frum guys are coming around the bima. They're staring. They can't see the Sefer Torah, but it's a spectacle to behold, and it's getting very intense over there. It's palpable. The suspense is palpable. It's terrible over there, and everyone else is like, "Come on, let's go. We gotta get out of here. I want to go eat my cholent at the kiddush after davening." So this happened. What do you do? If ain't koren b'torah, palchas me'asara gedolim b'nei chorin. Like we mentioned many times, it's Rosh Hashanah, as I mentioned yesterday. In Ian to lean on, really, I believe only the Baruchas HaTorah, Rosh Hashanah, but you need 10 people there. If you started with 10 people and Kriyas HaTorah starts and some people leave, even though you're not supposed to leave in the middle of laning, because it's like you're Ozev HaTorah, you're leaving the Torah. You can leave Ben Gavra Rutin Aliyahs, assuming there's at least 10 people left. Nonetheless, if there's 6 people or less, you can make the bracha. He has rov, so therefore rubo kakulo, so you can make the bracha at the end. Also, continue the kriya and make the bracha at the end. Beis in kasu kol chumash levado, afilu beglila kisefer Torah. Let's say they split the chumashim. There's 5 chumashim. They split it into 5 different parts, and they, had a sofer. They hired a sofer to write Sefer Bereshis, and they wrote it on a cloth. They rolled like a Sefer Torah in Kornbo. Chamisha Torah are one thing. They're one entity. They can't separate it, so therefore you can't use it for Kriyas Torah. Haga, them ksuvim glila Sefer Torah. Chumashim shalanu, right? The printed ones, right? Afilu kol chumash svarim biyachad. We have, right? We have, not only do we have the Chamisha Torah, we have the Megillas, we have other things in there. Ein and levarich aleim. You can't make a bracha on them because it again has to be al klaf. The paper we have is not cloth, and it's also not from an animal. It's paper. It's from a tree. It's also not beglila, not rolled. The place where they don't have a sefer Torah, and there's no one to, or they have a sefer Torah, but they have no bal koreh. The Ramah says you can mouth it to the guy, right? Someone stands there, right? And from the Chumash, the printed Chumash he has in his hands, he tells them how to read it. Mishnah Berurah says nowadays you wouldn't tell the Ola, because the Ola is not the one reading, you tell the Bal Koreh, and that would be okay also. Gimel afilu b'kfarim she'enim salam sefer Torah kosher. In villages where there's no sefer Torah, in mavarchin alav, you don't make a bracha on it. You don't make a bracha. Because again, the bracha has to be, according to the Shulchan Aruch, the bracha has to be on a Sefer Torah kosher, a real emistic Sefer Torah that costs you $30,000. We'll talk more about this Shulchan Aruch's opinion. It's actually argued. Ramah brings Deya in the next halach, which argues on it, and that will be the subject of Ian Talin. On Dalit, in Mimsa Toas b'Sefer Torah b'Shas Kriya, you have a kosher Sefer Torah. In the middle, you realize there's a mistake. Well, it's in the Sefer Torah Acheres. You have the big conference at the bima, and eventually the rabbi decides it's time to get at the second Sefer Torah, or the third Sefer Torah, the fourth Sefer Torah, or you usually have 10 Sefer Torahs, and you take out another one. You continue from where you left off, right? You just start reading the new Sefer Torah, the word you left off. Now, the first part was talking about where at the end of the Aliyah, they discovered there was a mistake. So you open up a new Sefer Torah, you start the next Aliyah. However, in the middle of the Aliyah, you found a mistake. Still, you bring a new Sefer Torah, and you start in the middle, exactly where you left off. You don't have to make a new bracha when you continue reading, because we assume the person who made the bracha had in mind all the Sefer Torahs. If the Sefer Torah is not kosher, my bracha should be chal on any Sefer Torah that's in the ark. Right? They already read 3 psukim. We said a minimal aliyah has to be at least 3 psukim. And it's a place where you could be mafsik. Poskim sham, and you find a mistake. Poskim sham, you stop there, you make a bracha. The rest of the 7 aliyahs on Shabbos, if you did 3 aliyahs, you do 4 more aliyahs for the next Sefer Torah. Now, it's not just any mistake, right? It has to be a big mistake. What is a big mistake? Where, like we said before, where leaving out a letter or putting a letter or the word is written like he gives the Ber Heitev, instead of writing the word keves, which means a sheep, you wrote kesev. Keves is a sheep, and kesev is something. I don't mean kesev, but you switch around the bays and the shin or the sin. So that's a mistake because it's a completely different word. Chaseros is when you add an extra vav, or an extra yud, right? Where to make the pronunciation clearer. But if you didn't have it, you can still pronounce it the same way. That's not a toes gomer, and you wouldn't be motzi nu sefer Torah. The reason being is because people, the sofer, I don't know if this is true nowadays. People pay a lot of money to their sofer to write a sefer Torah. Not every sofer is so careful. Shacher is here yoser kosher. The Agur says, maybe the second one's not any better. So why are you going and wasting your time taking a new sefer Torah? You can take all 10 sefer Torah. It's going to be a tircha de tzibura. The Riyaz Ma'aril possibly they don't have you sefer Torah acheres. They say never to bring another sefer Torah. But it's Yosef Pasuk, the Sarach allows you to sefer Torah acheres. He says you always take another sefer Torah out, even for chaseros and yaseros. So there's 3 different opinions. Do you take another sefer Torah out? So one opinion says only if it was gomer. The other opinion says even chaseros yaseros, and the third opinion, the Riyaz Ma'aril, says you never take another sefer Torah. Therefore, the Ramah says to be machriya, to decide which is the correct view. He says it's like the middle path, and therefore only if it's a real problem, not if it's chaseros v'yaseros. They only have a sefer Torah apostle. They don't have another sefer Torah. There's no one who can fix it. Meaning, obviously on Shabbos you can't fix it, but during the week, let's say you could fix it. If you know one to fix it, nonetheless, even though it's apostle, you should read with it. V'yesh posta and some posta, like the Beis Yosef, like Shulchan Aruch says, in Simon Gimel, the Ramah brings out an Avud Raham, a kolbo, that you could make a brach on it. V'yim chumash echad shalim below toes, heyesh lahakil likros ba'osa chumash af v'yishesh toes ba'acherim. So he said the Mishnah Berurah explains over here. Now you have a complete sefer Torah, but one entire chumash, let's say it's Bereshis, is complete without mistakes. But the other chumashim, it's still part of one sefer Torah. It's all 5 chumashim. So then you can be mekil likros b'osa chumash al v'yishesh toes ba'acherim, even though really the whole sefer Torah is one entity. Nonetheless, if one of the chumashim is complete, so then b'di'evid you can rely on that to read the sefer Torah. Hey, beis hakneses she'ein behem misher yodea likros ela echad. You only have one person who knows about Baal Korah. Yivarach v'yikra ksas psukim yivarach aleim. You should make the bracha of Baal Korah. Read the psukim, make a bracha after. V'chozel levarach tefillah v'korah ksas psukim yivarach lachreim. Chen yasik kam pamim k'nisvar olim shalos hayom. Again, Shulchan Aruch is talking about a case where usually the person who is making the bracha, he's the one reading from the sefer Torah. So therefore, he should get all the aliyahs, all 7 aliyahs. He doesn't have to pay extra money because there's no one else who knows to read the sefer Torah. Practically for us, that the Ola doesn't make the sefer Torah, even if he doesn't know how to read Hebrew, right? Nonetheless, the Ma'aril pasuk, we rely on the Ma'aril that the Baal Korah can read, and everyone can get an aliyah, even if you're a person that doesn't illiterate and you don't know any Hebrew, and you can't even repeat the words of the Baal Korah. Nonetheless, you're yotze through Shomea Ka'ona, and therefore you can have 7 regular Olas, and the Baal Korah is mostly all of them. The Baal Korah doesn't even get his own aliyah. 7 other people get aliyahs. Obviously, the people, the big philanthropists in the shul. That's the conclusion of today's shir. Stay tuned for Ian to lean on, where we talk about this machlokas. The Ramah brings a daya that argues on the Shulchan Aruch and Sif Gimel whether you have a sefer Torah that has a toes, right? A toes gomer. It's a puzzle sefer Torah. Even one toes gomer passes a sefer Torah. Can you make brachas on that, knowing that it has a psul in it? We'll talk about that in Ian to lean on coming up next.